So you want to know how to state the value of each quantity using a given graph and a limit, right? So we're given these limits over here, and we're given the graph here, and we want to figure out the value. So the first thing you want to do when you're looking at limits is focus on these symbols up here, right? A limit is either going to have this symbol, or this symbol, nothing. Okay, and what the symbols mean is that this negative means that the limit is approaching from the left, and the positive means that the limit is approaching from the right every single time. Now when you take a look at this overall, these two lines, you'll notice that one of them is approaching from the left and one of them is approaching from the right. This is going to be the positive limit and this is going to be the negative limit. Okay, and we'll get to what this open circle means first, later. So in this question, it's asking us what is the limit when x approaches 2, and the answer is 3. The reason why the answer is 3 is because 2, which is the x over here, is being approached to the left on the y-axis. That equals to 3. Right? Whenever it's asking you this question, just answer the y. Okay? So when it asks you this question, it's just literally just asking you what's x, what's y. And it already gives you x. It's 2 from the left. Okay? So in this next one, it says lim 2 plus, x approaches 2 plus, so it's going to be from the right. And if you look at 2 again from the right, it's equal to 1, right? So it's going to approach from 1. And then you look over here, it says limit approaches 2, but there is no negative or positive value. So what does that mean? Well, when you don't see any of these, it means it's considering both limits. Now, if you look closely at the graph, you'll notice that there's something called a hole over here. You see how there's a hole here, but in this point over here, it's shaded in. Well, a hole means that the value does not actually exist. It just means that it's approaching that general area, but it's not going to ever reach that point. When it's shaded in, though, it means it will reach the point. So when you're given a question like this, does x approach 2? No, it doesn't. There's a hole here, and there's also a gap between both lines. So the answer would be does not exist. And then let's say you're given this question. It's not a limit anymore. It's just saying to evaluate f of 2. Basically what that means is just asking you what's the value at f of 2. Well, the answer would be 3. And the reason why it's 3, the reason why you choose this point is because it's the only closed point at f of 2. So we're not going to consider the open hole. We're just going to consider this one, and the answer would be 3. And this one asks you to consider both limits at the point of 4. And the thing with the point of 4 is that there's a hole here. So basically, when you're evaluating this, it does not exist because there's a hole at where 4 is. So the answer is not 4 for this, even though it looks like 4, 4. If you look at the axes, there's a hole, so it doesn't count. And the same thing goes for f of 4. Does not exist. That's how you evaluate.